Does that look familiar to anybody? Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. And I always thought, oh yeah, it's the side view mirror or it's the rear view mirror, but it's actually the passenger side view mirror that has that in maybe all cars. And because, just to let you know, just a disclaimer, that your side view mirror is doing things correctly, but that other one distorts things in this way. And it made me think this is a good symbolism for what may be happening in our lives, because objects in our rearview mirror are often objects from our unhealed past that we don't want to see there. They're the things that we thought we left behind. They could be pain from a relationship. They could be a family member who was harsh. They could be a disappointment, a loss. They could be a childhood belief that we don't want to carry anymore, something that we don't want to carry. But these things are traveling with us down the road. We look in the rearview mirror and they're all like following us like it's a big caravan. I was just thinking of that. Every single thing. It's like, here we are. You look in the rearview mirror. Hey, I'm still here. Yeah, you're not enough. Yeah, you're not going to have enough money for that. And, you'll whatever, you have this awful thing ahead of you. Yeah, you can't do enough. You're not worthy. And so these things are just repeating in our ears. And these things are in our past, but they're influencing everything in our present. They influence our interactions we have with our spouses, with family members, with friends, our interactions with ourselves, how we treat ourselves. But these events that are towing along with us may have happened 40, 50, 60 years ago, right? They may have happened a long time ago. I always like to pray when I hear an ambulance. This comes from my mom. She taught me this. Every time an ambulance passed, she would say, okay, let's just pray that help is reaching where it needs to help. So I go back to these objects. They are really creating this picture of yesterday has a way of becoming today. Yesterday has a way of becoming today. That's an interesting thought. And that's not, I don't think that's what we want in all cases, in many cases. There's an author of a book called Calm Your Body, Heal Your Mind. And his name is David Hanscom. And he said, the rest of your life starts right this second. But most of your thoughts and actions today are likely based on what you have learned in the past. In other words, instead of forging new paths, which is what we're supposed to do, you're just reacting to past programming. And we react emotionally. When we react really emotionally strongly to something, it's like our strings are being pulled. Our buttons are being pushed. Those of you who are in a relationship know that your partner is really, they know exactly how to push your buttons for some reason. It's like, that's so interesting. And most of us assume that we're responding to what that person is doing. Now, that may be true, but it also may be true that much of our response is not even belonging to the current us, it's belonging to our former selves. And David Hanscom, that author, says this is something called, we are brainwashed by our lives. We're brainwashed by what's come before. And I think that's a shame, but there's good news. There's good news, and you can change that. But I'm thinking about this brainwashing theme. Just think about it for a second. Someone gives you constructive criticism, maybe have been a boss at work, but suddenly you feel 10 years old again, right? Someone doesn't return a text, and you may feel a sense of abandonment that doesn't belong to the current self. It belongs to something way in the past. You argue with someone, and your body is preparing for war. Your body, your neurosystem is like, all of a sudden, you can feel it well up within you, and it's like, wait a minute, that's not an appropriate response. It's an appropriate response if I were going to run from a tiger. It's an appropriate response if I were going to war, but it's not an appropriate response for you left the toast in the toaster too long. It's not. So, there are more appropriate responses that we can have. And we talk about seeing through new eyes. Okay, so one of the things that we're here to do is not see through the eyes of past trauma. There's a trauma, probably the most noted psychologist on the planet today that teaches about trauma, and his name is Gabor Mate. And he says that trauma isn't simply what happened to us. It's how we react to the trauma that happened to us. It's how we still may be reacting to what happened to us, regardless of the event. And perhaps how we survived, how we created these actually, wonderful coping strategies that were really wonderful at the time because they allowed us to get through that hour, to get through to the next day, to get through to the next year. But they're outdated. They're outdated. So, what's a story you keep telling yourself? What's one of those things in the rearview mirror that you look at every once in a while going, why am I still towing all of that? Why am I still carrying all of that? And the nice thing is Unity teaches us that thoughts become experiences. And on the bad side, when we have thoughts of lack and limitation, those can drive our life. If we say, I'm going to be poor for the rest of my life, it's like saying, and so it is. That's your prayer. You're creating that. Some people say, worrying is rehearsing. Worrying is rehearsing. But the good part is that Unity also teaches us, because we can co-create, we can change our thinking and change our life. We can change everything. Healing is possible because we can make the choice. Every good thought we plant, such as during our meditation when we say, I am safe, I am home. It's like, it's silly in a way that we need to be reminded of those things, but so much of the trauma that I know every single person in this room, we all have something in common. Everybody in the world has something in common. We all have trauma that happened. And to know that during the meditation I could say, I am home. Oh yeah, I am safe. Oh yeah, I am safe. It's because we're reminding this inner part of us. We're reminding every part of us of the truth that I am safe. I can rest, right? And so this is actually toning and changing your neurology. So I just described spiritually, this is the third principle of Unity. We can change our thinking, we can change our lives. But neuroscience also says that your brain, if you're constantly thinking, I'm poor and I'm not going to have enough, I'm poor and I'm not going to have enough, and all your thoughts are going that way, then there's something called neuroplasticity. Every thought creates this thing called thoughts that wire together, thoughts that fire together, wire together. Thoughts that fire together, wire together. If you have similar thoughts about your abundance, about your prosperity, and it's all negative, that's the path that your brain is going to go down every single time you think about money. It's just the path. And you're going to create all the circumstances and friendships and attitudes the wrong way down that path of I'm poor, I'm broke, I'm going to be poor, I'm going to be broke. Okay, whatever you want to put down this pathway. But one day, if you decide to tell yourself, I've always been taken care of. I've actually never eaten out of a garbage can. I always have enough, and I always find these unexpected sources of income. So you tread this little new pathway that maybe is really tiny, but then the more you think about that pathway and you say, I am whole, I am complete, I am healing, I'm doing better, this becomes the new pathway that your brain wants to walk down, okay? And it's so wonderful that we can create these, from a spiritual standpoint and from a neurology standpoint. Each time we choose love over fear, each time we choose hope over fear, each time we choose gratitude over grumbletude, right? Then there is this new path that we're marching on over here so we can see through new eyes. But this isn't always easy work, is it? And Carl Jung said, it's worthy work. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, until you make the unconscious conscious, It will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Yeah. So we're here every Sunday in every talk. In every talk, there are these messages of I can co-create my life for the better, and we can make the unconscious conscious. And every single speaker you hear, no matter what the topic is, one of the things they do is to get you stop walking on this path of lack and limitation and less than and not worthy, and walk more on this path of, oh, it's possible. We will have a democracy in this country. Everything will be okay. Everything will be okay, and I am healing. And to walk that path so we can help others walk that path. Something I wrote down, I don't know, about a year ago, and I was waiting for the talk to happen so I could use it, is every bit of past trauma becomes your button and your opportunity. Every bit of past trauma becomes your button, and it also becomes your opportunity. This makes me think of a book by Eckhart Tolle. There's a book called Power of Now, where Eckhart Tolle talks about this thing called the pain body. And he talks about it more in A New Earth, much more substantially in A New Earth. And he says, well, I looked this up on Google this morning. What's a pain body? A pain body functions almost like a separate dormant entity in your body that occasionally awakens to feed on drama, negativity, and suffering. So that's pretty intense little definition. What it means is when you have trauma, it not only gets stored in your mind, it gets stored in your body, right? And it may become aches and pains and a sore neck. It may become, it sits here in your body. You know, there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. Is that the name of the book? The body is keeping the score. And every time you have unhealed trauma, that score is going negative. It's going not in your favor. So this pain body loves drama. It loves negativity. It loves to fight. It loves suffering, but it's not going to win. It's not going to win because we get to shine the light on that sucker. And what happens when you shine the light into the darkness? It goes away. You shine the light, you're doing shadow puppets when you're a kid, and someone shines a flashlight, and what happens? The shadow puppets go away. You shine a light on it. So I guess one of the things is don't let the past drive your car. Imagine, you see it in the movies sometimes where they're talking to somebody in the back seat. It's like they're driving, and Jen's like, God, they better watch what's going on in front of them. They're going to hit somebody. The same goes for your life. The windshield is much larger. The windshield of your life is much larger, and the rearview mirror is a utility thing, okay? It's a utility thing. You're much more going to get to your destination if you focus on what's out here. And I think there's another point to this, and it's healing means remembering without reliving. Healing means remembering without reliving. And we can do that from our wise adult selves in so many ways. So, I think most of the spiritual talks that happen in this place are in some way about letting go, right? And so if we want to let go of that baggage that's in the past, those trucks and cars and caravans of things that are following us in our rearview mirror, I think that 3 things are necessary. 3 things. One is very simple. There's not much to say about it. One is willingness. Are you willing? And the nice thing about it, every person here decided to get up and get dressed or get on Zoom and consciously sit here for an hour because I think every single person here has the willingness. We're not just coming here for the cookies, right? Every single person has the willingness to be a better person, to be the best possible person they can be, because somewhere along the way, you got that juju, you got that, oh yeah, that taste of like something that someone said that you said, that is inspiration for me, that is home for me, that is who I want to be. So willingness, but you have to be willing if you want to get rid of that caravan behind you. You have to be willing to have some of it come up. Do you have to be willing to face what it is, to face the shadow, as Carl Jung would call it, to face the shadow, or else the shadow will run you, okay? So step 2 is awareness. And this comes through prayer. It comes through meditation. One of the things that sometimes I pray for is, let me be aware when my past is talking. Let me be aware when I'm grouchy for no reason that what's back there? I'm curious, but I'm wanting to be aware that maybe it's a string that's being pulled, right? So this week, notice your reactions to somebody, reactions to something, reactions to just feelings that come up, okay? And ask, is this really about today? Is it really about today, or is it about yesterday, okay? So, the third and final thing, this is what I'll leave you with, is reprogramming, or we can call it recreating. That would be a more unity-friendly word. Whether you call it reprogramming or recreating, it's not enough to just be aware. Now that you're willing, and now that you see, oh, they were just pressing the button that I had all along, and regardless of relationship, somebody else is going to press that button, and somebody else is going to press that button, or I'm going to press that button for myself, that button of judgment or whatever. And I want to know how to make that button smaller. I want to know how to move that button to the back. I want to get rid of that button, okay? And so everything that spirituality and neuroscience is telling us is we can change these buttons, because we are not here on July 12, 2026 to have our buttons pressed, well, maybe to learn the lesson, but we are here to do greater things than just have our buttons pressed. We're here alive in this magnificent place, and your body is a miracle, and every single year and second you've been alive is leading up to this path. You as a magnificent healer, you are here to do something that no one has done before. You are here to do something no one has done before. The chances that you as a person exist is so small, but you did it. You're here on purpose, and I think that's grace. So choose to recreate and reprogram, and I'm just going to leave with 3 simple things you can do. Have intentions to find the answer. Have intentions to heal, okay? So intentions is one. Meditation is the other. When we say, I am safe, I am whole, I am healed, I am home, we're retraining the nervous system to get rid of the trauma response, to live in this place that is conducive to peace and healing, which is where we're supposed to be, okay? And the final thing is prayer. Prayer can be a combination of intentions and meditation. And as Unity would teach us to pray, and there's no wrong way to pray, but as Unity would teach us to pray, it would say, to affirm that I am whole, I am complete, I am worthy, I am healing this very moment. I know it to be true. And to just sit in that and to repeat that, even if you don't believe it. I am magnificent. Today is going to be the best day ever. And the best is yet to come. And so it is.
All is well, I can rest, I am safe. All is well, all is well, yeah. I can rest, I am safe. All is well, all is well. I can rest, I am safe. All is well, all is well. can rest. I am safe. All is well. 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 I can rest. I am safe. All is well. Again. All is well. I can rest. I am safe. All is well. All is well. I can rest. I am safe. All is well. 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 I can rest. I am safe. All is well. I am safe. All is well. I am safe. All is well.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Ron. That's a perfect song that's a Karen Drucker song. She's written so many to lead us into meditation. So let's just take a deep breath, and I invite you to go within. And I've talked about this recently. There's a form of breathing called box breathing that they even teach it to the Navy SEALs, and it's just taking a deep breath and just hesitating at the top just for a moment, and then just letting it go. And at the bottom, just hesitating a moment before you breathe in, just almost like creating a square shape in your mind, pausing at the top, exhaling and pausing at the bottom before you inhale. I've been doing so much reading about meditation and the things that it does. They're even studying it and have seen evidence of it increasing the length of telomeres, which are parts of your genes that, in short, are responsible for longevity. And I'm not surprised. This meditation, this calming state is conducive to healing of your total nervous system, your total epigenome, where we get to influence in a positive way the genetic switches that are turned on delicately in our body. And so knowing that all is well, I can rest into this healing state where there is only good, reminding myself that all is well. Reminding myself that I am home. Reminding myself that I am safe. As I breathe in and breathe out, I'm reminding myself that I can rest And it's so good to meditate in the company of like-minded beings as we rest into this field that's created by our consciousness, by our intentions. There's so much healing power in this room. It reverberates into the Zoom room. It goes where this community goes. Let's just rest into the silence of this as Anna plays. So I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for the healing. I'm grateful for the awareness of my healing. I'm grateful to be an active participant in my healing and the healing of the world. The world needs you. The world needs us. And so by being here, we lift up ourselves and we lift up all souls. I'm so grateful for this. And so it is.